Hey, I'm Dave Rubin, and this is TYT140, a lot of news in a little time. On Monday, Ferguson, Missouri witnessed unrest for the 9th straight night since unarmed black teenager Michael Brown was shot by a white police officer. Despite strict new protest rules and the presence of the National Guard, demonstrators continued to clash with police, who fired several rounds of tear gas into the crowds. Promising to de-escalate the situation, police have reportedly brought in giant flamethrowers. Meanwhile, Police Captain Ron Johnson was seen looking up the definition of the word de-escalate. On the national level, President Obama will be sending Attorney General Eric Holder to Ferguson to meet with federal law enforcement authorities investigating possible civil rights violations in Michael Brown's killing. President Obama has resisted calls to come to Ferguson himself, noting that if he had to visit in person every time police in a different American city shot and killed a black male, he'd never have time for anything else. In other war zone news, U.S. airstrikes have helped Kurdish and Iraqi forces recapture Mosul Dam from the ISIS rebel group. Authorities had earlier warned that ISIS could have breached the dam and flooded the city of Mosul with millions of gallons of water. President Obama said that the successful operation shows that the Iraqi military and Kurdish forces can work together and will hopefully begin to drive ISIS out of Iraq, at which point they can get back to the business of fighting each other. Speaking of infighting, indicted Texas Governor Rick Perry is scheduled to be fingerprinted and have his mugshot taken today. Perry has been charged with 2 felony counts of abuse of power stemming from his threat to veto funding for a statewide public integrity unit to force Democratic office holder Rosemary Lemberg to step down. While initially angered over having to be booked on the charges, Perry was relieved later when aides explained that the process did not actually require him to read a book. And finally, 23-year-old Tucker Blandford came up with a novel way to keep from having to get married, faking his death. A few months before his planned wedding date, Blandford called fiancée Alex Lanchester, pretended to be his father, and told her that his son had been killed in a car accident. The plan only unraveled when Lanchester called Blandford's parents and was told that he was perfectly fine. Blandford has since been placed on Bride magazine's list of least eligible bachelors of all time, right between Ike Turner and Joseph Kony. I'm Dave Rubin. Follow us on Twitter at TYT140 and suggest stories using hashtag TYT140. We'll see you tomorrow.